I'm gonna turn the camera.
Mazel tov. Turn around the camera so we can see him.
Thank you.
Hello. Mazel tov.
Lessons in success.
Welcome to the
Big
club.
Simcha, Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
We have to make a Kiddush. Okay. We're holding on the bottom of Ches, right? The bottom of Ches Amud Aleph, 8a. Thank Hashem that we're able to learn Torah every day. And in the course of our learning, we should have basic English. Amar Rava, Amar Rab Nachman. It's the bottom line. Rava says in the name of Rab Nachman, Amar Allah, a man says to a woman, Iskachli b'mana, be betrothed to me with 100 coins. Mana is like $100. But he doesn't have the $100, so he gives her a collateral. That doesn't work. And now the reason why that doesn't work is because the Gemara explains, Mana ein kan, mashke ein kan. He didn't give her the mana. And the mashkin is not really considered anything because he could back out of that. It's not a mashkin like there is a mashkin by a real debt. When he takes a loan and he gives a mashkin, he gives a collateral, so then the lender actually acquires the mashkin. It's different. The lender acquires the mashkin, and if the person wants to pay back the loan, he's actually buying the mashkin back. So that's different. But over here, he's giving her the mashkin. He's not really giving her anything.
It's mashka.
Not mashka. Mashkin is a collateral. Everyone hears what they want to hear. Rav asked a question for Rav Nachman. What are you telling me? That if he gives her a mashkin for the $100, if she's not married, we have a brisa that says if he gives her a mashkin, she is married. Rav Nachman answers to Rava, Hasan b'mashkin da'achirim could Rab Yitzchak. Over there, it's not a mashkin that he's giving her, that he's going to give her the rest of that he's going to give her the Kiddushin money. That's not the mashkin. It's a mashkin that he received from someone else. So, for example, Ruvain borrows money from Shimon. Shimon goes and marries Shimona, or betrothed Shimona. How does he do that? He takes the mashkin that he got from Ruvain and he gives it to Shimona. So it's not a mashkin that he owes Shimona the rest of the money. It's a mashkin that Ruvain had given him because Ruvain owes him money. And Amar Rab Yitzchak, how do you know that the creditor, the lender, actually acquires the mashkin and it's his to use in the marriage? Because it says for you it will be tzedakah, will be charity. Charity is if he goes to the person and he gives him back at night, like it's a blanket or something that he needs for at night, so he gives it to him. If it's not his, if it doesn't belong to Shimon, so what's he doing? What does it mean it's tzedakah when he gives it back to Ruvain? I mean, it's a nice thing, but it's not tzedakah. Mikan lebal chayv shekena mashkin must be that he actually acquires it. Yeah, maybe they would call it kamilas chasadim or something. But tzedakah is something that would be his and that he's giving back. Bnei Rav Huna bar Ravin zavanu amsa bepriti. The sons of Rav Huna bar Ravin, they bought a maidservant with pennies. But they didn't have them. They didn't have the priti. So they gave her a what's a nascha, like a bar of silver, like an inket. Good props.
So she was worth a couple.
Yeah. 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 L'soif yakar amsa, but then the value of a maidservant went up. So Salakami de Rabami, they come to Rabami, and the question is, did they already acquire her by giving the collateral and they don't have to pay anything extra? Or did they not acquire her yet? You did not acquire her yet. You didn't give the coins, and you didn't give the and the collateral is not something that the person really acquires because you can still back out of it. It's not a real payment because you can back out. It's not like by the debt where you acquire it, the creditor acquires it and the person buys it back from him. Says, get married to me, be betrothed to me with 100 coins. Well, nataltai or natlasai, vizaraktai, vizaraktai layam, vizarakasai, vizaraktai layam, oila or, elachol davar avid. So he gives her the money, and her comment is probably, "You're a creep," and she throws it.
Is there a time limit to when in between the action and action?
It sounds like that it has to be immediate. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. In other words, instead of acquiring it, she throws it into the sea, or into the fire, or to any way that it gets lost. She's not considered married. Remember, she doesn't have to say anything when she gets married. She just has to accept it. So here she's throwing it away. So the Gemara is medayek from this brisa. Shadisinu kamei. Let's say she throws it back at him. Havi Kiddushin. Sounds like it is a Kiddushin. Only if she destroys it, is it not a Kiddushin. But if she gives it back, it's not destroyed, then it sounds like it is a Kiddushin. But but she's actually telling him, I don't want it. Why she shouldn't be married? Gemara says, Laimi by Kamar. No, it's exactly the opposite. Not only Amar Laimi by Shadis Laimi by Kamar. Laimi by Shadis Kamar. Not only if she throws it back at him, Dlayav Kiddushin, that she doesn't want it, that she's not married. But when she throws it into the sea, or she throws it into the fire, since she has to pay for it, Kiddushin Kaddish Nafsha, she's actually getting herself married. So why'd she throw it away? Why'd she do this? She thought of the Kelahai Gavra. She says, I want to check out this guy. I want to see if he gets angry. So that's a old-fashioned trick to check out the shidduch, is to check him if he gets angry, to pull the steering wheel while he's driving. He shouts, "What are you doing? You crazy!"
She's crazy. Yeah, for sure.
So, but she might. No, I'm just checking to see if you get angry. So maybe she was actually accepting the money, but she wanted to check if he gets angry. The story is she's still an older single. She's it's a bad habit. Now she takes the bus, right?
So she engaged to him or not?
I could have thought that maybe she would be. Kamash Malan, that she's not. She's not engaged. She's not betrothed.
Could he do the reverse? Like, could he say, oh, here's the money up, he takes it back because he sees that she's crazy?
If she accepted it, it's too late. Too late. He has to give her a get.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Divorce her before the wedding.
Right. Tana Rabbanan. It was taught in the Bryce, I'm sorry.
You're saying, I don't want your honey and I don't want your sting.
Yeah. Yeah. Scotch leave mana. Yeah, Vitaly. Scotch leave mana. If a man tells a woman, marry me with this 100 coins, and she says, Tanam la'aba olavicha, give them to my father, give them to your father. She's not considered married. Let's say she says, not give them to my father, give them to your father. She says, have them hold it for me. Give it to them so they hold it to me. Then it's mekudeshes. Okay, maybe she's a young girl. She keeps her money in her father's bank account. When it says give it to my father, that's like that's coming to teach me that even though She says, give it to my father, which sounds like it's still coming into her possession. But nevertheless, she's not married because she says, I don't want it. Tanola Avicha says, give it to your father. It's coming to tell us the strength of the Seifa, where she says, give it to them to hold for me. Even if she says, give it to your father, which is now her father-in-law. So it's Mikudeshes. She is married. Yeah, so each one has a chiddush there that I'm a little surprised about.
Yeah.
Skachli b'mana. It says, marry me with 100 coins. She says, Tanam laplani, give him to so-and-so. Ain't Mikudeshes. She's not married.
Wow.
Al Manashi Yakablamli says that he should hold it for me, he should receive it for me, then it's Mikudeshes. It is good. With Tzricha, we need this case as well. The Yashmi Naba Vavicha, if it would only tell us the case where she says, give it to my father, give it to your father. I would have thought that over there, that's when it's going to be a good marriage, when she says they should hold it for me. Some chadaiti ilayu, because she relies on them. Savra Avdin Lishlichusai, that she thinks that they're going to hold it for her, which is good. They're going to do her mission. Aval Pliny, but some other stranger lie would say no. So that's a chiddush. Yashmin and Pliny, if it only tell me that if she says give it to so and so, over there she says give it to so and so. It's not a good marriage. Because she doesn't have any feelings for him that she's giving him a gift. Maybe she wanted to give it to them as a gift. She's receiving it and giving it as a gift. So it's necessary to tell me this as well. Both of these cases.
So if she says, give it to so and so on my behalf.
Yeah, that would be that would be a marriage. She's marrying me with 100 coins. She says, Taneim al Gabisela, put it on the rock. Aina Mikudeshes, she's not married. Maya Sela Shala, but if the rock was hers, Mikudeshes, then she is married. I mean her property. It's her property, then she would get married.
Stone in the backyard.
Yeah. On the boulder.
On the
Right.
road. Colorado. Get it. What's the deal?
Yeah.
It's got to be deep.
By Rabibi, I don't know. Rabibi says, Sela shall shnei amao. Let's say they both own the rock together. That's a problem. Teku. Because she didn't really give it to him. She didn't really accept it. That's an interesting case. Skachli be kikar. She said, the guy says, marry me with this loaf of bread, this baguette, this bagel. Right. It's a large ring. She gives her a bagel. So she says, Tanei Lakelet, give it to the dog. Eina Mikudeshes. She's not betrothed. But if it was her dog, then Mikudeshes, then she is betrothed. The guy fed a dog for her. She got some benefit, at least the Pruta's benefit. That's good. Rav Mari asked the question, let's say the dog was chasing her to bite her, and she says, give it to the dog. Maybe the benefit that she just received by being saved from the bite is enough of a benefit. She didn't actually, she wasn't able to eat the bagel, but she did benefit from escaping from the dog. She was rescued. Maybe she could say to him, I'm not married to you. You have a biblical obligation to save me anyway. You didn't do anything for me. It's not like I owe you. I'm married to you because you did this mitzvah. You had to do this mitzvah regardless of me. Okay, take it. That's a good question.
What's your answer?
I don't know.
He didn't have to waste the bagel on the dog.
He could have chased the dog away with the stick. Yeah.
So the cases are where this guy saves the girl's life and he marries her. That's the opposite of it.
Right. But there, in those cases, whatever the stories are, I don't know, you have to read all those novels. But whatever the story was, he probably gave her a ring too. Here, this is in place of the ring. Saying like, look, I saved your life. You owe me something, so I gave you some benefit. It's in place of the ring. Yeah. The Skachli Bekikar says, marry me with a loaf of bread. She says, Tinei Olani, give it to the poor. Give it to this poor guy. Eina Mekudeshes, she's not married. Afilu ani asamachola, even if it's a poor person that she's actually supporting. My taima. What's the reason? Amralei, she says, just like I'm obligated to give him tzedakah, you're also obligated to give him tzedakah. So you didn't do anything for me, you did something for Hashem. She's not agreeing to the marriage. Possible. Who Gavra? There was a person. Mazbin Chumri Paschaisa. I'm missing half of the none over here. That was selling some sort of glass buttons or pearls or something. Chumri, Rashi says buttons, and Paschaisa he says pearls, glass pearls. So this woman walks by. Amalei, she says to him, Havli chad shucha, give me one necklace, one string of these pearls. She says to him, Amarla, he says to her, Yavina lach mikadeshesli, if I give it to you, will you be betrothed to me? Amalei, Havameva, just give it. Give it. You know, like, don't make me crazy, just give it. Amar Rav Chama, so Rav Chama says, Kol hava me'ava lav klumhu. She did not agree to the marriage. She just said, give it. She did not agree to the marriage, so she's not betrothed.
Just wants
wants the pearls, yeah. Who gavrik the shasi chamra? There was a person that was drinking wine. The chanus in the store. Sounds like a bar. Also, Yitza, this woman comes by, Amalei, she says to him, Habli chad kasa, give me a cup. Amalei, he says, Yevin lach bekadeshesli, you give it to me, will you be betrothed to me? He's not drunk. Amalei, ashkin, just give me quick, give me to drink, give me. It means serve me. Amar Rav Chama, kol ashkin ashkin lav klumhu, says that's not considered that she agreed to the wedding.
Sometimes, like, I feel like in some situations, if you're like in a desert and water is like very valuable.
Right. Yeah.
If someone asks her, like, if I give you this water, would you be betrothed?
Right.
What choice does she have?
Right.
Yeah, but that's not fair.
She can respond
No,
and
of
say
course
it's
not.
to keep me alive. Just like you said, man.
I'm sorry?
She can respond and say it's a mitzvah for you to keep me alive anyway. You have an obligation to do so.
That's
Yeah. Ugabra the Kashadi Tamri Midikla. There was a person that was throwing dates off a date tree. Also, this woman comes by. I think they would like shake the tree. They would throw rocks up to get the dates to fall out. I don't know. Maybe he climbed up. He's throwing them down. This woman comes by, says, Amalei, Shadli Tarti, give me two dates. Dates is in the fruit. Amallah, he says to her, Ishadina lach mekudeshesli, if I give them to you, will you be betrothed to me? Amalei, Shadi Mishta, just throw it. Amar of Zvid, call Shadi Mishta lav klumhu. If you talk like that, she didn't agree to the wedding. Ibaylo, the Gemara's a question. Have Ashki v'Shadi Mal. Let's say she only says it once. Give, serve, throw. Shouldn't say throw, give. So maybe then she means she actually means that she's accepting. It's a little different when she says give. Sort of like don't waste my time. Amar Ravina says that's mikudeshes. Rav Sama Barak Samar Tagad the Malkein mikudeshes. Rav Sama Barak says by the crown of the kings, that's not considered a good marriage. The Hilchasa in a mikudeshes. The halach is that she's not a mikudeshes. The Hilchasa, another halach is shiroi leitzrichi shuma. Remember we had a machlekes before between Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef. If there's silk, if you have to evaluate it before you use it as a wedding, as the Kiddushin, as the Hilchasek Rabbi Lazar, the Hilchasek Rabbi Lazar that he said that if you tell her that you're marrying her with 100 coins and you give her 1 dinar, that the rest becomes a mashkin. The rest becomes a loan. I'm sorry, but the rest becomes a loan. Yeah, and he owes her the rest. Then that he is married to her. The halacha is also like Rava, that where we said before that if he doesn't give her anything, he just gives her a mashkin. That's nothing. He didn't give her the Kiddushin. He didn't give her a mashkin. Now, there's a very interesting Tosfos here. If you look on the side on your Gemara, maybe it's about 10 lines up from the wide lines. Lefikach. It says, Lefikach nagu olam lekadosh betabas, shein ba'evan. This is where Tosfos says, it's Rabbeinu Tam, actually. Rabbeinu Tam has a question that why does it switch over here? First of all, it says, Hilchasa Karaba Lazar, Hilchasa Karaba. And it doesn't say Hilchasa Karaba. Rabba was the one that said Shirai Leitzri Chishuma. Why doesn't it say Hilchasa Karaba? So the answer is, well, Tosfos says that maybe we're not pasking like Rabba 100%. We're pasking just that the silk doesn't need to be evaluated, but stones and precious things that no one knows what they are except for an expert. No one knows the real value except for an expert. So for that, you need to that we would hold that you do have to evaluate it first, and therefore Tosfos says that that's why we use a ring without any stones in it. Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
Is it correct to say that this discussion the last few dafim have been about making a correct kinyan? It's all about making a kinyan. So is there why doesn't it just say Agba, Masira, and the other things that we do to make a kinyan?
Oh. Well. Yeah, we're not concerned about the actual kinyan. The kinyan, that's something else. We're saying even if he puts it on her property, she would acquire it. It's not the kinyan that we're concerned about. Here we're mainly concerned about, did he give her anything, and did she have intention did she agree to that? He says if we're discussing kinyan, why don't we discuss that you lift it up or you have to pull it, or the types of kinyanim of hagba or mashicha or that. We did it. We mentioned before like chalipin and that type of stuff, but over here we're really discussing: did he give her anything? Did he give her anything of value? And what did she agree based on her statements? The boulder, because it's a kinyan chatzar, right?
That reminded me of the get when you put her in her courtyard.
Right, exactly. Like the get in the courtyard.
Visiting the shepherds. If the young shepherd sees a shepherdess, he throws a stone at her. She returns it.
Oh, really?
Where is that?
It's in
Missouri?
the Andes. I'll take you there, brother. Anyway, that's I remember when the guy told me this story. That sounds very much like.
Wow, that's not
And if she
interesting.
ignores it, then he says, "No, I'm not interested in you."
Uh-huh.
That's their way of communicating.
Wow.
It's out of this mission.
What was that?
His alpacas,
Sweater.
but it might be from the stuff. I mean, there's a lot of ancient things.
Okay.
Saw these people getting married. There's a wedding. It's up in the plateau, 2 miles above sea level. It's a chuppah. People are getting married under a chuppah.
Wow. Wow. Interesting.
Everything.
Do they say that from the 10 tribes or 10 lost tribes?
Right,
Is
because
that
that's
their
the gold.
theory?
The gold for the temple came from Peru. That's the source of it.
Oh, really? That's what they say? Sheba? The queen of Sheba?
Oh, she's
Where
in
is that?
Africa.
Oh, that's Africa. I was in Crown Heights and I was in the bakery. I looked down, there's a ring on the floor. It has diamonds in it. And I asked people in the store, can they lose a ring? Anyway, I told the bakery, I gave them my number if anyone. I came home.
You took it.
I have it. Yeah, I came home, my wife looks at it. She says it can't be real because the back has to be open. You know, the setting, the back on the ring is open. And I say, yeah, it's probably just taking it. Put it on the side. But then someone told me now that the new diamonds or something, the back is closed. It could be it has value.
You lost ring at bakery.
Yeah, what did it look like?
You still have it as many years later?
No, it was a few months ago.
You still have it?
Yeah.
But you're here.
Do you know how to check the tell? Really?
They know they have a thing to buy diamonds.
Oh, I don't want to buy anything. What is it?
Or scratch it, yeah. Or break it.
If
you want, just take
Yeah, I got to take it into Julie.
The jeweler who was a Daf Yomi guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Okay. Okay. Tanarabanan. Started in the Bryce Bishtar Kate said, how does it work with the document? It goes like this. Let's say he writes on a piece of paper or on clay. This sounds like it's what's it called, cuneiform. No, he's writing on a shard. He's writing on a shard. Even though there's no value to the paper, there's no value to the clay. He says, "Bitach mekudeshesli." Your daughter is talking about that. The girl is under 12 and a half, and he's writing it. He's going to give it to the father. He says, "Bitach mekudeshesli." Your daughter is betrothed to me. Bitach meresesli. Bitach lila into. Reason mekudeshes. He gives it to the father. The daughter becomes betrothed. One second. This document is exactly the opposite of a regular document of purchase because over there, the seller is the one that writes the document. He says, my field is sold to you. The purchaser doesn't write the document. It's the seller that writes the document, and he gives it to the purchaser. And then it's like the deed, right? He says, my field is now, he now has the deed of the field. He handed that over. But over here, it's the purchaser. The purchaser is the husband that's writing to the father that says, I'm acquiring your daughter. That's exactly the opposite. Rava says, you have to look at the verses. That's why we have this distinction. It's based on the verses. It's a biblical source. Over there it says if he sells from his inheritance. So it says that what's the full pasuk? I don't have the full pasuk here. So he sells from his inheritance, so then a relative comes and can redeem it. So he's over there is talking about the seller is the one that's selling it. But over here it says if a man takes a woman, it means that the husband is the one that's taking the woman, so that's why we say the husband is the one that makes the document. Gemara says, it says over there that fields with money you'll purchase. That means the purchaser is going to do that. It says Kuribe Yikanu or Yaknu Yikanu. That means that you'll sell it. I guess when you switch it to what would it be? Yaknu would mean you're giving it over. Yikanu would mean that you're acquiring. They will.
There, it's not going to hear me on giving a prophecy that once again
They're going to buy fields. So
supposed to say it. Not hear me out. Not like anyone else was told by Hashem to do that.
yeah, but we want to say that you'll sell fields. That's what we're switching it now to. Fields you'll sell. And how do you read it? How do you read it? How do you change the word to sell instead of buy? So you would either do yaknu or yikanu. What does it do over there? Yiknu versus yikanu. Yikanu. My time occurs by yiknu. Why are we switching it to say? Why are you switching it to say yikanu mishum d'ksiv macher? Because you have a pasuk that says that it's associated with the seller. So Achanami Karbe Ki Yakach, or maybe the Ksiva speaking in Satalish Azeh. You should switch the verse to say when you sell your when you give your daughter, as opposed to Ki Yikach, when you take a wife, rather when you give your daughter as a wife. The Ksiva speaking in Satalish Azeh, because it's talking about the father giving his daughter to a man. So maybe you should just switch it. He says it basically, if you're looking for a verse and you're switching the reading of it to match the other one, so we should switch the other verse to match the reading of the other one. Elama Rava, rather Rava says, this is just a tradition. Bas Mechina Rabban Nakrai, and the rabbis just use a verse to help you remember it, and like an asmachta. Iba Yasema, if you want, you could say, Hasam Namik Sev Ekach Sefer Amikna. We'll take this document of purchase. Yeah. And it means I took this book of Mikna as purchase, right? So over there I have a pasuk also that's referring to the seller is giving the purchaser a document of purchase. Right, that the seller writes a document.
He gets the goods and he gets
the document. Amar Rav Nachman. Rava says name of Rav Nachman. Kasav Leili ala niyar al necheres api shem by pruta shem b'shav pruta. Someone writes on a paper or writes on a shards or pottery. He says even though there's no value to the paper or to the pottery, but he writes bitach mechudeshesli, your daughter's betrothed to me, bitach meresesli, bitach lilintu, your daughters will be my wife. Bein al yedei avia, bein al yedei atzma. Whether he gives it to the father, whether he gives it to her, we're talking about that she's, I guess, 12, in between 12 and 12 and a half. Mikudeshes, midaitai. She'll be married as long as the father gives consent. Ushlai bugger, that's as long as she's not 12 and a half. Once she's 12 and a half, she doesn't need his consent. Whether he gives it to the father or to her, with her consent. But that's as long as she is over 12 and a half. So it turns out that what it looks like over here is that he can give the father a document even though she's over 12 and a half, as long as she agreed to it. Is that what it's saying?
Yeah, because it's not like Kesef, it does not require it.
But the question is why the father should, I mean, maybe someone else, right? Yeah, but that's money. That's where she's benefiting. They're holding it for her. Here, they're just giving it to her, and she didn't. Why the father? I don't know. Reb Shimon ben Lakish. Shimon Reish Lakish has a question. Let's say there's a document of marriage, of betrothal, that was written, but it wasn't written with the intention of the marriage. Why? How was it written? It was written for another person. It said, your daughter is betrothed to me. And then he went over to one guy in Shul. The guy says, get away from me. He says, okay, I'm not using that. So he goes over to the guy sitting next to him and he answered to him, your daughter is betrothed to me. Try the next guy in line. So, Mahu, what's the halacha? Do we say, Havayasli Yitzias Makshinan? Do we compare marriage to divorce? Ma Yitzia, just like by a divorce, Binan Lashma, the document has to be written specifically for this woman. So when it comes to the marriage, the document needs to be written for this woman. Or maybe we should say that marriage is compared to marriage, not marriage compared to divorce. Marriage is compared to marriage. Just like when it comes to minting the coins, those coins were not minted that they're going to be used for marriage for this woman, unless maybe some wealthy guy has special coins made just to marry this woman. So we say also that this document doesn't need to be written specifically for this woman. It could be written for anyone.
Oh,
You go into the Judaic store, you get a document in Hebrew, and you use it for whoever you find. The boy Hadar Pashta. After he asked this question, Rish Lakish, he then answered it. He says, "Havaya liyatziyah makshinan." We compare it to divorce. It needs to be written with the intention for this woman. It can't just be a blank document.
it's not blank, it's a template.
It can't just be a template.
It has to be already.
Right. It has to be written specifically for this woman.
Does that make it for that
Is
woman?
this the marriage
Just by
document?
adding
Marriage document.
It's all right. In Judaica, you could buy these fancy ones.
That's a ksuba. That's not a marriage document. Yeah, don't be confused with the ksuba. This is a document in the ksuba. It actually says that the man told this woman that you are my wife, but it doesn't say harei at. It doesn't say you are now my wife. Right? It's a retelling the story of said you're my wife, yeah, and he agrees to this and this. This is a real marriage document, not a ksuba.
Can we use this today?
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
So you
Someone
can't go-
asked, when did we stop using this?
So Suba would have like that background story, and a marriage document is just like a
It's just-
receipt that.
No, a marriage document says the actual words of Hareyat Mikudeshesli.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
With this document.
Yeah, with this document.
Wow.
It's
So
mine.
instead of the words. it
Instead of the
actually
words,
on-
right?
When you buy something, you have this procedure where the seller gives you the good and the document. Same thing with this marriage.
Right.
So today you go into any store, when you buy something, they give you a receipt. That's the same thing. When you get married, you don't get a receipt. You just get bills. I mean, this whole procedure, yeah, this part is dropped off of.
Is that a Henny Young joke?
This would be more like a title. There's a title.
To the what? To the woman?
Sort of.
Does a civil marriage certificate qualify as this?
Again, right?
Oh, a license.
The marriage license. That's the husband. Who owns the marriage license? Are there two of them? Oh, the state owns it. And does the husband own it? Does the husband have it?
Not necessarily.
Uh-huh. 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 It's my. I have a statement from Amirayim. He wrote the document for her, but he didn't tell her about it yet. He's hoping that she's going to agree. Rava v'Ravina Amri Mikudeshes. Rava and Ravina say that's a good document. She's could be married with it. Rav Papa Rav Shravya Amri Eina Mikudeshes. Rav Papa and Rav Shravya say no, it's not a good document. Amar Rav Papa, I'll say their reason, I'll also say my reason. That's very nice. I'll say their reason. Why do they say that it's considered a good marriage? It says it says that she'll get married. We do this comparison between divorce and marriage. We do this comparison between marriage to divorce. Just like when it comes to divorce, she doesn't need to know about it. It just needs to be written for her because you can divorce her against her will. So she doesn't have to know about it. And when you're writing it, she doesn't have to know that you're divorcing her. I don't think it's switched by Rabbeinu Gershon. I know according to Rabbeinu Gershon, you have to divorce her with her will, with her consent. But what about the writing of the document? Can you write the document? It's interesting. So Rabbeinu Gershon was one of the Gaonim, the end of the 996 or something. Oh.
It's even more difficult.
Okay, so their reason is that you don't need their intent for divorce, therefore you don't need her intent for the marriage. You can already write the document. But it says, but we compare marriage to divorce. Just like when it comes to divorce, The husband needs to know, the makna, the one that's giving over, needs to know by the divorce. Afavaya be'inan das makna. Also, when it comes to the marriage, we need the das makna. We need the woman's intent. The woman is the one that's giving herself over. We have a question. In case when you need to have both intentions to write this document of marriage. My life started years in Rasuin Mamish. Probably we're talking about heirs in Rasuin, where it says life started psikta. This would be a question on that you need both intent. That would be a question on Rava and Ravina. Let's say that you don't need her intent. It says life started psikta. We're talking about the Tanoim, the agreement that they have before the marriage. Because Rav Gidl Amar Rav, like Rav Gidl says in the name of Rav, Dam Rav Gidl Amar Rav, Kamat Anais Lebincha. How much do you want to give for your son? Kach v'kach, I'll give that much. Lebitzcha, how much do you want to give for your daughter? Kach v'kach, I'll give that much. Amdu v'kitshu, they got up and they, talking about the dowry, they made the Kiddushin. Kanu, it's already acquired, just verbally. This is things that are done verbally, which means that in order to write a document about what they're each going to give, then you need to have consent that if they wanted to put it on paper. But otherwise, they just keep it as a verbal agreement of what each one is going to give for their. But what we did over here was we got rid of saying that this was a marriage document, and that way it's not a question of instead of a marriage document, it's a tanoim. It's what were they going to do for the wedding. Okay, let's leave it over here. I need someone for tomorrow. I need someone to teach for tomorrow. I'm not going to be here.
Levi wrote or
Levi?